Welcome back everyone to another video, and today it is all about sex education, and more specifically it's the story of Maeve and Otis going from season 1 all the way up to season 3. I have watched this show and have taken notes on a couple of the characters, not just Maeve and Otis. Well, that is a couple of the characters actually. A few of the characters. I've got some other videos planned if this one does go well. I'll be covering the story of Adam and Eric from season 1 to season 3 in another video, and then some individual character stories as well. But this is very different, so if this doesn't do well, then I might not pursue other videos to do with sex education, but I want to do these sort of TV show reviews, stories, like going over aspects of the show that I'm watching. So yeah, we'll see how it goes, and without further ado, let's get it started, because this will be a long one. I have literally wrote down every single scene between Maeve and Otis, pretty much, that is important to the story. It's like 6 pages long, so this does take dedication, but it's very enjoyable as well. So without further ado, let's get started. So let's start off with their first encounter. Maeve and Otis bump into each other in the school hallways, and that is the first time they meet. Maeve calls Otis a moron and a snowflake, so it's not the ideal sort of first impression on Otis's behalf. And at this stage, you know, Maeve just sees Otis as a dog poo on the bottom of her shoe. You know, he's nothing to her. They just bumped into each other. It's the first time they met, but it just didn't mean anything at all.
Guys, you know you're not supposed to run in the hallway.
It was my fault. Fuck off, Snowflake.
Moving on from that awkward first encounter, Maeve and Otis end up sitting beside each other in sex education, and they actually become partners to do whatever the classwork is. So they have to work together, and they have to talk more. I assume Maeve would have just been like, this guy's irrelevant, you know, when they bumped into each other. Probably never see him again. And then boom, in the same episode, probably like 5 or 10 minutes later, they're sitting beside each other and they're working on some sexual work. Labeling the vagina, I think it was. So Maeve finds Otis very weird, because Otis is very, very uncomfortable around the topic of sex. You know, when they're doing the work, Otis is very weird, very uncomfortable, very awkward, as he, you know, always was to begin with. Although Otis actually goes on to correct Maeve about a certain part of the vagina. So Maeve knows that, okay, maybe he is weird and uncomfortable, but he definitely knows his stuff when it comes to the sexual organs. So he's not all bad.
That's not the hymen.
I think I know what the hymen is, but thanks.
Hey, well, I mean, you're quite wrong.
Oh, and if you don't know already, Otis's mum is a sex therapist, so this is why Otis just knows everything. He knows what's what when it comes to sexual organs, sexual well-being, sexual actions, because he grew up in such a strange and sexual environment. You know, it's definitely not normal for families to be like that. But, you know, the main story of sex education is that Otis is pretty much a sex therapist himself at 16 years old. But unfortunately for Otis, the whole class finds out that his mum is indeed a sex therapist, because some kid ended up playing a video of Otis's mum demonstrating a hand job on the classroom TV in front of everyone. Very, very awkward. I couldn't even imagine.
The head of the penis is incredibly sensitive. Feel free to stimulate it with your fingers in a circular motion. As he gets closer to orgasm, you can speed up. You'll feel him throbbing in your hands, like a volcano about to erupt. Look at that.
So Otis flees the room in a frenzy of panic and embarrassment, and Maeve actually feels sorry for him. You can tell that she does feel sorry for him a little bit, and Maeve actually proceeds to go and check on Otis just to make sure he's alright and to try and make him feel better. Although the teacher did tell her to do that, that wasn't like her going to check on him on her own accord, but she did anyways, so that's something. It's better than nothing.
Is that really your mum? Could have been a lot worse. She could have been stroking an actual penis.
Maeve and Otis end up walking in on Adam, who is in the abandoned toilets, and he has a bit of a problem, which we will get into. And as I said before at the start, there is a whole story with Adam and someone else called Eric. If you are unfamiliar, you know, you probably, if you're watching this video, you probably are familiar. So yeah, Adam has a problem, and it's a big one.
Help me. I know it was you who sent that video around. So I'm not gonna help you.
Please! You kid, it feels like it's gonna explode and not in a good way.
Well, that's not my problem.
No, wait! Please, don't go.
Should we get the nurse?
No. No, you can't tell anyone.
What if he dies or something?
Dies?
Adam, what did you take?
Viagra.
So Adam goes on to explain his problems to Otis and Maeve, but Otis actually gives Adam great advice, because obviously Otis is very well knowledged on everything to do with sex, so he gives Adam great advice, and this is when the storyline between Maeve and Otis really kicks off. We're also going to stay on the topic of Adam just for a second, because he does have another, good bit of importance to the Maeve and Otis storyline at this stage. So Adam goes off and has sex with his girlfriend Amy, and he actually comes. Now this is a big shock, because another problem that he had was that he just couldn't come. But after hearing what Otis had to say, it was like he was just magically fixed. So Adam knows that Otis has this magic touch, and Amy actually goes and tells Maeve, because Amy and Maeve are like best friends, and Maeve catches on to this as well. She is like, wait, he actually came. That means Otis completely fixed Adam and really changed everything. Otis is a sex god.
I broke up with Adam. Still couldn't come. No, he did. We had goodbye sex. Thing is, school's hard enough without having to date an actual flasher. I think I need to find someone a bit more socially acceptable.
Rewind, he came?
Yeah. It's like something clicked in his brain. Boom.
But Maeve automatically thinks, whoa, we could make a business out of this, we could make some money out of this. And then Maeve does propose the idea to Otis of setting up this whole sex clinic where they get clients, people from around the school, since everyone is so hormonal, everyone has these sexual problems. So yeah, they decide to set up this business, this sex clinic, to make money and to help out their fellow peers with all of their sexual needs.
The students at the school need your help, Otis. And we need their money.
And the way this partnership would work would be that Maeve is the one who sets up the appointments and deals with the money, and Otis of course is the one to give the advice, because he is so well knowledged.
I haven't really worked out the details yet, but I'm good with numbers, so I'll deal with the business end of things, and you can do the therapy. We'll charge for every appointment and split the cash.
Therapy?
Yeah, sex therapy. You have a gift? It would be irresponsible to waste it. Look how you helped Adam.
So the first appointment is made with Olivia, whose problem is that she vomits on her boyfriend's penis when sucking him off, and she can't really control the gag reflex, This is a very dirty video, I'm not gonna lie, but sex education is very brutal, like very graphic, but it's real, it's realistic, which you don't get with many shows these days. But this first appointment doesn't go down too well at all, because Otis's awkwardness gets the better of him, and he just gets really uncomfortable and messes up, starts talking about animals sucking each other off. Olivia gets weirded out and is like, nah, this ain't working, I'm gone. And Maeve is, pretty pissed that Otis really dropped the ball on the first appointment, but they move on and they try again. They keep on looking for new clients because they know that this opportunity cannot go to waste. Yes, Otis messed that one up, but we all know that he has what it takes to conquer this sex clinic.
Well, did you know that humans are not the only species to perform fellatio? Bats have been known to partake.
What do bats have to do with any of this?
Well, at the zoo, I once saw a chinchilla fellate itself.
Hello?
So later on, we actually learn that Maeve lives in a caravan and is actually quite poor, and she has problems with paying her caravan rent as well. So the money from this sex clinic would be ideal for her, That is definitely, one of the main reasons why she wants to do this in the first place, to make that money and to pay the rent. There is another reason why she wanted to do this in the first place, but that comes at a later episode. I'm talking season 3. It'll all come full circle.
I wish I was a charity, love.
Look, I said I'll have the money by Monday, all right?
You all right? Let's hope you're not pregnant.
So word starts to get around the school that Otis is a sex genius, and all of a sudden he starts getting bombarded with clients, everyone coming to him trying to, you know, express to him what their problem is and to make him fix them. And this is amazing because the business is truly underway at this stage, you know. First of all, we had that Olivia appointment, which was just terrible, but now everyone's coming in from all sorts of angles and Otis is getting bombarded. So he rushes off to Maeve to tell her because, you know, this is exciting. This is the beginning of what they were trying to achieve. And the sex clinic that is run by Maeve and Otis is truly underway.
I'm really freaked out by bum holes. Now, I know it's a sensitive issue, but I heard you can help me out. I can pay you if...
Can I get back to you?
Yeah.
I think I'm addicted to wanking.
We have sex pretzels!
Clients. We've got clients. Numerous students have approached me today hoping to secure our services and they're willing to pay.
Keep talking.
Actually, that's it.
Sometime between the last segment and the next segment, Maeve ends up getting pregnant and decides to have an abortion. She texts Otis the address of the clinic but doesn't tell him that he is going to an abortion clinic because she wanted to tell him in person that she was having an abortion and wanted him to be there for her. However, Otis jumped to the wrong conclusion and thought that he and Maeve were going on a date, so he puts on a suit and he heads to the address that Maeve gave him. And of course, Otis is confused as to why he ended up at an abortion clinic, and Maeve is just embarrassed and just tells Otis to piss off because he is looking like a right knob and he completely messed things up. Thought that they were going on a date when she was having an abortion. An abortion. Although Otis did not piss off, he actually stayed and waited for Maeve to come back from her abortion, and she really appreciated that.
You waited?
Of course.
Even though she told him to piss off, she was very, very happy to see him waiting there for her, so that was a nice little moment there. Otis then walks Maeve home, and it's clear to see at this stage that they are now more than just colleagues, you know, work partners, sex clinic partners. They are indeed friends because she does give him a hug, and yeah, it's clear to see that there is a connection there. Maybe not a connection of the romance level, but there's a friendship connection for sure.
If you tell anyone about this, I'll kill you. I have a hatchet and I know a good place to hide a body, okay?
Maeve and Otis end up having another really nice moment because they're messing around at the school swimming pool. Maeve pushes him in, they just start messing around, you know, fumbling around in the pool, and it's all very nice and very wholesome until Otis gets a boner, my friends. Otis gets a boner.
You coming? No. What? You just said we better go.
I'm staying here.
Why?
Exercise.
So at this point, Otis is completely head over heels for Maeve. He is so in love with her, but he's still just so awkward, and he just can't bring himself to tell her that he likes her because in his mind she is just leagues above him, you know. And at this stage, Maeve is also hooking up with Jackson, and if you don't know who Jackson is, Jackson and Maeve have been hooking up since the start of Sex Education Season 1. There's no strings attached, you know, it's just casual sex, but even still, you know, Maeve is so, like, she's with Jackson, her mind's on Jackson when, you know, having sexual thoughts, sexual desires, and Otis is just, like, not even considered in that region, so Otis loves her to bits, and Maeve is just oblivious. Or so it may seem. We'll find out if that is the case later on in the video. Ooh. Jackson actually ends up coming to Otis for advice on how he can sort of take things further with Maeve and make her his girlfriend. As I said before, it was just like casual sex, you know, no strings attached, but now Jackson actually wants to take things further and to be in a relationship with Maeve. And Otis actually gives Jackson bad advice so that Maeve would, you know, feel embarrassed or would say no to this question, because Otis does not want this to happen. Even though he's very awkward and he doesn't want to tell Maeve that he likes her, he's working towards it, you know. And with Jackson coming in, that'll just shut things off completely. So Jackson makes a big gesture in front of the school asking Maeve to be his girlfriend, and Otis knows that Maeve hates the attention being on her and that she would be embarrassed, and she is at first, but then she's actually impressed by Jackson. And this whole plan by Otis just backfires because Maeve says yes and finds the whole thing very sweet. And there we go, Maeve and Jackson are now officially in a relationship. And Otis is pissed. So even though Jackson and Maeve are now a thing, Otis continues to hang out with Maeve because they're still running the sex clinic, but you know, he just thinks that they're going to be friends, which he's kind of accepting. But there is a point where they're walking together and Maeve is a bit cold, so Otis gives her a jumper from his bag, and then comes a moment where they actually nearly kiss. Yes, my friends, they nearly kiss. But they don't because Otis bottles it, you know, freaks out. But this goes to show at this stage that Maeve actually does have feelings for Otis. We never thought it before. But it's clear to see now that there is something there between the both of them. It's no longer just a one-sided thing.
I'm a virgin.
What?
I'm a virgin, and I thought you should know, so I am.
Yeah, that's totally cool. No judgment.
Cool. Glad I shared.
It becomes even more evident that Maeve likes Otis when she tries to put Ola off Otis.
But just between you and me, he's like really inexperienced. He hasn't had sex or anything yet. He's a bit confused about all that stuff, so don't be surprised if he doesn't seem keen. See you later.
Now, if you don't know who Ola is, she is the girlfriend of Otis. So Otis actually did sort of move on from Maeve because he knew that she is with Jackson and they just couldn't work out, even if he had the courage to try and do so, you know, to try and make it happen. And Ola comes into Otis's life and they actually end up being in a relationship. I could do a whole story on them, but I haven't got the notes for it because it wasn't too significant in my opinion. But at this stage they are together and Otis is starting to, you know, build more confidence by being in a relationship. But you can see that Maeve wants to keep them apart because she's getting a bit jealous. She doesn't like seeing Otis with another female, which is kind of like how Otis was when seeing Maeve with Jackson. So yeah, that's interesting. And Maeve actually ends up getting what she wants because Otis screws things up with Ola himself and Ola just cuts the relationship there.
So what am I on the food chain?
Well, you could be like, you know those goats that stand on really steep cliffs and just kind of stick.
I'm a goat.
So now we move on to a scene where Otis actually talks someone out of suicide with his wise words of wisdom. Well, it wouldn't have actually been a suicide because, you know, it wasn't that drastic. But this kid who's hanging from like the school play set is about to fall and really injure himself, and Otis talks him down with his wise words. But at the same time, Maeve is staring at Otis and she knows that what Otis is saying is actually about her, because Otis says he understands what it's like when you like someone and they don't like you back.
And sometimes you meet someone who feels the same way, and then sometimes you're unlucky. But one day you're going to meet someone who appreciates you for who you are.
So just as it looks like things are getting good between Maeve and Otis, Otis does come to Maeve and tells her that he doesn't want to do the sex clinic anymore because it's getting too much to handle. And right after this, a drunk Jackson appears and tells Maeve that Otis took money from him and gave Jackson advice about Maeve and how, you know, to get Maeve to like Jackson more. And Maeve is pissed because she feels betrayed. You know, Otis giving advice about her behind her back to her boyfriend. It's a bit dodgy, isn't it? It's a bit dodgy. So at that stage, she most definitely agrees that yes, we are done with the sex clinic, and she just doesn't want to be with Otis anymore at all. You know, friendship, whatever. Nah, nothing. Nothing.
He paid you to tell him what I like?
Oh, I didn't. I tried to not take.
So Otis sends Maeve an apology letter, and Maeve is extremely happy to read it because even though she was furious with Otis deep down, she'll always have a soft spot for the guy. She'll always have feelings for him.
I hope you can forgive me, and that we can keep doing the clinic together. You're the smartest person I've ever met, and this award is yours.
So Maeve decides to go over to Otis's house and to make amends. And I remember watching this thinking like, oh, this is so good. They're going to get back on track. Things are looking up. And then she stumbles upon Otis kissing Ola right outside his house. And once again, the Maeve and Otis relationship is ruined because Maeve decides, okay, well, I see how it is, and she walks off. Doesn't make amends or anything. So Otis is, in his mind, you know, he's still in a bad place with Maeve, even though she was willing to make up. That is just sad. So going into season 2 now, Maeve returns to school after being kicked out. She was kicked out because of her brother. Her brother brought drugs. Maeve was caught in possession of the drugs, even though they weren't hers, and she got kicked out, but she did get back in, so that's all good. And Otis proposes to Maeve that they should get the sex clinic up and running again, and Maeve does agree to this. So now at this stage, you know, at the start of season 2, we're like, okay, boom, we're back in business. We're going to see Maeve and Otis, you know, get close again, and maybe this is the season where they get together.
I'll up your cut. 55%.
70.
60.
Deal. This is entirely about the money.
Yeah. It's good to be back in business.
This next scene was pivotal. This was a very pivotal moment in the show because Maeve nearly, very, very nearly brings herself to telling Otis that she likes him, but she crumbles at the last second. So before we had Otis crumbling, and now we have Maeve crumbling. What a madness.
I think I'm gonna have to punch you in the face if you ever buy me a birthday present again, dickhead.
Sometimes I feel so sad.
Okay. I won't.
Although Maeve goes from nearly telling Otis to telling Otis, because there is a moment where she does go to him and she explains that she really messed things up with Otis because she never told Otis that she liked him when she should have, and now that Otis is with Ola, she acknowledges that she really missed her opportunity. And when Otis hears this, he is shocked and angry because he really liked her too, but he never would have expected Maeve to like him back because of the type of person he is. And this leads to yet another fallout between Maeve and Otis. And I mean, this was one of the best scenes of the whole show in my opinion, when they both realise that they always loved each other.
I liked you. I really liked you. I fucking turned myself inside out liking you.
You did like me?
Yes. Of course I did. And now you're saying you felt the same?
Yeah, I was confused.
Things only go from bad to worse as well, because we have a scene where Otis hosts a house party, an unexpected house party that is, and he ends up getting really drunk. And whilst being really drunk, Otis insults Maeve and Ola in front of everyone.
I just really wanted to be with Maeve, and I didn't really want to be with Ola. And then I realised, Maeve, Wiley, just likes playing with people's feelings, and she doesn't really care about anyone. I think she's probably the most selfish person I've ever met.
So after this, it truly looked like there was just no way back for Maeve and Otis. You know, I've had some fallouts before, but they've always rekindled that friendship at least, you know? But this was just brutal. So now we move to the end of season 2 when Otis drops by Maeve's caravan to make amends, but Isaac tells him Maeve isn't there. Otis tells Isaac to say to Maeve that she should check her messages when she gets back, and Otis leaves. Isaac then proceeds to go into Maeve's phone and he listens to a voicemail left by Otis. In this voicemail, Otis says that he loves Maeve and wants to be with her, but Isaac deletes the voicemail, so Maeve never got to hear it. And if you're not too familiar with Isaac, then Isaac was a character introduced in season 2 and he fell in love with Maeve, just like Otis. So he obviously deleted that message because he doesn't want Otis to go and get Maeve, you know what I'm saying? He wants Maeve for himself. So this makes Otis think that Maeve doesn't want to be in Otis's life. She just doesn't care and completely disregarded the fact that Otis said that he loves her. So Otis is like, okay, well, that just seals the deal. We're officially done. and that is a big cliffhanger going into season 3. Well, here we go with season 3. A new term begins at Moordale, and we have another chance to see Otis and Maeve make up. Will this be the season where we finally get what we've always been waiting for, what we've always expected, what we've always nearly had, but always gets snatched away at the last second? Let's find out. So Otis and Maeve pretty much avoid each other for the better part of the season. I mean, it's only until episode 5 when they have a moment that is worth mentioning in the story, and that is over halfway as well. That's past the halfway mark of the season, so yeah, you know, they were kept apart for a long time. Otis actually ended up being in a relationship with Ruby for the first half of season 3 anyway, so he and Maeve were truly done. Like, they were far apart for a long time. And I've also got a story prepared for Ruby and Otis. If you want to see that, let me know. Drop a like on the video, come on. So during episode 5, everyone goes on a school trip, but Maeve and Otis end up getting stranded and left behind by accident at a gas station. Well, a petrol station. I'm from the UK, so what am I saying gas station for? They get abandoned at a petrol station, sorry, and the bus leaves them behind, so it's just them two finally together, no one else, just them two ready to talk. And this is the conversation that we've been waiting to hear since the end of season 2. Maeve tells Otis that Isaac deleted the voicemail and she never got to hear it. She knows this, by the way, because Isaac did come clean and tell her. Otis recites the voicemail to her live in the flesh, so that Maeve can hear what was said. She is very surprised to hear that Otis said that he loves her, and she asks him if he meant it.
I love you.
I'd like to touch you.
I mean, anyway, it was stupid.
But I've forgotten how.
Did you mean it?
And this leads to them finally kissing, having the big moment that we've all been expecting. And it just feels so good to finally witness this, you know. 3 seasons in, and we finally get that kiss between Maeve and Otis. And it's very passionate as well. And it's very good. Otis, at this stage, has experience with the females, and he has this very good kiss with Maeve, you know. And in season 1, like, even though I expected to eventually see Maeve and Otis kiss, I always thought it would have been awkward, but Otis, he's a bit of a stud now, I'm not going to lie. He knows what he's doing. So finally, after all this time, Otis and Maeve are going to finally pursue this wonderful relationship, right? Wrong. Wrong. And I'm not joking, by the way. Something else comes up. Otis once again pisses Maeve off because he and Isaac got into a fight over Maeve because of course they both want to be with her. Maeve calls Otis selfish and doesn't want to see him anymore. And once again they're on bad terms. I mean, it's just... it's so frustrating to watch.
I think I should stay and help.
No, I don't think you should, because you just make things worse.
What do you mean?
Ever since you stopped doing the clinic, you stopped caring about anyone but yourself.
No, that's not true. It's just not my responsibility.
I think you should go. I don't want to see you anymore.
Maeve.
So if you've been noticing the pattern between Maeve and Otis, then you will be expecting them to make up once again. And they did. Otis tells Maeve that the only reason he started the clinic in the first place was to be close to Maeve. And Maeve also tells him that she wanted to be close to him as well. And it wasn't just about the money. They kiss passionately once again, and they make up for the millionth time.
It wasn't just about the money for me. I wanted to be close to you too.
It's every day I'm in this place.
And finally, I bring you the last scene between Maeve and Otis for season 3. Maeve tells Otis that she is leaving for her educational opportunity in America that her mum gave her the money for. Otis is very shocked because Maeve previously said that she wasn't going on the trip, but since she got the money for it, she wasn't going to waste this opportunity. So Maeve hugs Otis and says, "See you soon," and the whole show ends with Maeve leaving on the bus.
So this is goodbye?
No. No. It's see you soon. Wish me luck.
And that is where the story of Maeve and Otis comes to an end. That is it. I've covered everything that these two characters have went through with each other. Now there is a season 4 coming our way in, I think it will be 2022, but they're only going to get started with filming like sometime around now. It was just announced the other day actually that season 4 will be taking place, so sometime soon they will start filming, and then season 4 will hopefully be here in 2022, maybe 2023, but no later than that. So the Maeve and Otis story will continue for sure, and I'll definitely make sure to cover whatever happens in season 4. And I'm sure in season 4 we will finally get that moment where they actually get into a relationship. You know, so far it's been up and down, but we finished season 3 with them being on very good terms. However, Maeve has to leave, so they will be separated, although I just don't see them not getting together this next season. There's no way Maeve will be in America for the whole of season 4. Like, nah. Halfway through, I guess, she'll come back after her studies and then rekindle things with Otis. There may be some ups and downs, but I'm pretty sure they will be in a proper relationship in season 4. I'm pretty confident, but oh fuck, you just don't know, because it's so up and down. It's always been so rocky since the start, but it's about time it finally happens, right? But anyways, that is it for the story of Maeve and Otis. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this one, and if you did, then make sure you drop a like on the video for me. Subscribe if you're new for more videos like this. As I said, I do have more stories prepared between characters, so make sure you are subscribing to stay tuned for those videos if they do take place. As I said before, if this video, which by the way is, shut up! Which by the way is absolutely monumental for me to make. You know, there's a lot going into it. If it does flop, then I may not go to the trouble of putting together the other videos. But I love it though, so I still might do it no matter what the view count says. Views do not determine anything, my friends. But it will kind of hurt. I don't know, this could do well. I really don't know. Fuck. It's new. Hopefully you've enjoyed. I said that already. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.